Okay, welcome to another episode of Above the Bridge podcast. This is episode 20. Shout out to our producer, Boy Band John. What's up, Boy Band John? All right. For our sponsors, Defend Hawaii is offering 15% off anything you order online. Just go to defendhawaii.com. Promo code is ATBpod. Upon checkout, 15% off everything. Also, Detail Garage Hawaii is offering another 15% off everything you order on their website, detailgaragehawaii.com. Again, promo code is ATBpod. All right. So today, my guest, you guys guarantee seeing him on The Voice, making Hawaii very proud. I know him as DJ Odyssey, but everybody else knows him as Joseph Soul. What's up, man? How you been?
What's up, bro? I've been good, man. Thanks for having me on.
Automatic. What a roller coaster you've been this past pandemic year.
It's been a roller coaster period, but yeah, this past year has been it's been pretty crazy for sure.
Must have been exciting. So when did you move back to Hawaii?
I moved back in October of 2019, and
Okay.
yeah, I used to live in Irvine before that in Orange County, California. But yeah, I moved back in October, and what was crazy is like around December and January, I was doing about I had just kind of picked up about 5 or 6 gigs a week, like singing and performing live, and then boom, March, and then everything shuts down. So it's pretty crazy, like how things happen like that. But yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. A lot of people's like businesses and careers started peaking, and then all of a sudden COVID hit and kind of just was like, damn.
Mm-hmm.
But I gotta admit, your swerve was pretty good, man. Like The Voice, how is that? Like that's a big time show, and man, you killed it. I mean, I was talking to my daughter and everything, showing her your first song, and man, when you came out and played that Bob Marley song and redid it, that was chicken skin, man. I got emotional.
Oh man, thank you so much, dude. Yeah, it's crazy. What was crazy about that too is like I actually got invited to audition in December of 2019 for that season that I was on, and then they held auditions in Hawaii in it was February of 2020. So the pandemic hadn't really hit yet. We were just getting our first cases in the US, and it was the beginning of February. So like I was still gigging. I mean, the day I had my audition, I played at Mai Tais after. So it's
Nice.
yeah, it was pretty crazy. Like so what actually was crazy about The Voice was that I auditioned in February, and then I was supposed to leave in like March or April to go to LA for executive callback auditions, which is just another step right before the blinds. And that got postponed to May, and then it got postponed to June, and then they canceled them all together. And we just went straight to the blinds in July. But because of COVID and because of getting postponed so much, we actually had to spend a lot of time out there. Like I think I was out there for like 11 weeks straight before I came home for like a little 4-week break.
Oh wow, where were you staying at?
We were up in Burbank. They had us up at the Marriott in Burbank. Everything that we do is within like a 10-minute drive from that hotel. So, but we were sequestered to the hotel. We got tested for COVID every other day.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty. They were pretty strict with the guy. I mean, one guy got kicked off because he broke the protocols.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
So
he made
you
it
were
pretty
kind
far.
of like the NBA in a bubble, kind of.
Essentially, I mean, yeah, basically, yeah. And everybody that we interacted with through the show was tested regularly and kind of forced to stay within this bubble. Now, the crew and stuff, like when they leave, who knows what they do. But for the most part, with California's guidelines, they mostly stayed home and they were pretty safe. I mean, they had us double masked. They had us double masked a lot, and we were wearing masks and having to. I mean, when we did makeup and hair, we would have to wash our hands with soap and water, and then sanitize them before we got in the chair. So they were pretty heavy duty on
Jeez.
their COVID protocols, but that's
Well, I
cool.
guess all those protocols paid off because I mean the show went on, right? So that was kind
Yeah,
of cool.
exactly.
How was auditioning in Hawaii? You must have seen a lot of friends and people you knew in the industry come and try.
Yeah, it was really cool. Like I
Where
ran
was
into
it?
a bunch of friends. It was actually at I think I forget it's called Island Sound Studios. It used to be called Avex or Studio Hawaii back in the day. It's in Hawaii Kai.
Oh, okay.
Gaylord Ho'omalia owns it now, but like it was in the studio, and it was pretty intense. Like I had actually auditioned for season 15, so I was on season 19, but I had auditioned for season 15, and I'd met the lady that I was auditioning for back then, and I had made it through this process back then, and they had cut me right before the blind auditions for season 15, so I never made it on. And so when I come back in, like first of all, I was sitting in the lobby with people I knew, so I was auditioning around the same time as Miley. She
Okay.
goes by Miley when she performs, but like Miley Soul is her Instagram. But she was, I think she was right after me. Also that day was Isaac, Mike Talba,
Oh, wow.
a bunch of people auditioned that same day. Shoots, I forget his name. Hawaiian Dude is his Instagram handle. Gosh darn it, I can't remember his name. He performs at Monkey Pod a lot. He was on Hawaii 5-0 or Magnum PI now. Chuck's really big dude, really talented dude. But anyway, he auditioned as well. But it was kind of heartbreaking because a lot of them didn't make it through that round. And then, for example, even when I got my email saying that I'll fly out in July, that same day, some of my friends, and I don't want to mention their name, but like some of them got an email saying they won't be flying out at all.
Mm.
So it's a pretty intense process, and that's just the auditioning process. But being able to audition here at home was pretty nice. I guess it was pretty comforting to to be able to sit in my own car and
Oh,
do a
yeah.
couple dabs before I walked in.
Yeah. You
Relax
can
a little
sleep in
bit.
your own bed and then
You
come
know,
go to do your thing, but
whack a poke bowl right before I went in.
yeah, yeah, keep it real. That's cool, but I'm pretty sure whoever didn't make it, you made them proud. Like Hawaii's kind of a team, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
one person from Hawaii goes, you got the mana from the whole state. Like, and how is performing in front of like freaking icons? Like you perform in front of
Uh,
Gwen Stefani.
it was crazy, bro. It literally was the most terrifying thing I've ever done in my life, the most terrifying thing I've ever experienced in my life. But
Really?
also at the same time, it was the most gratifying thing I've ever done and experienced in my life. So it was pretty much evened out. Like, but they were pretty extreme. It was really extremely gratifying, but also it was extremely terrifying. And just to give an idea of like my experience, I performed in front of 100,000 people one time in LA, in the entire Crenshaw Boulevard. Um, I'm not proud of this, but I fought MMA in 2007. Like I fought in the ring, and I was way more nervous doing this than I was for that.
Wow.
And yeah, it was really intense. I mean, there was no audience there, and I feel like if there was an audience, I probably would have been able to feed off of their energy and kind of get into the vibe more. But it's literally the best way I could describe it was it felt like Hunger Games. Like you're singing every time I sang, I was singing for my life. If I don't make it through after this song, I'm going home.
That's
You
true.
know,
I didn't even
so it's
think
like
of it
super
like
intense.
that.
Like beyond the fact that it's John Legend, Blake Shelton, Gwen Stefani, and Kelly Clarkson there, and Carson Daly is the host.
Yeah.
Like holy crap! If I don't do my best, I could be going home right now. So it's like that's on top of everything, and so it's a pretty intense process. And then if you get to the point where votes come into play, then it's a totally different thing because now the judges are taking things into consideration like, okay, well, who actually votes and who do they vote for? Well, then you
Yeah.
start thinking about like, okay, well, never in the history of the show in 19 seasons has an African American female won. Never. And in my opinion, and I'm a singer, so I kind of know a little bit about singing, they are some of the best singers on the show, just talent wise. I mean, for example, in my opinion, the best singer in our season was Dez. I think hands down. I mean, I'm not just saying that because we did a duet together, but like, I think she was the most talented. She had incredible range and incredible control, and every time she was on the stage, she was a superstar.
Yeah.
But in
That
19
duet was
seasons,
fire too, man. Like you guys
thank you,
killed
bro.
it.
That was another intense process too, man.
Well, your first round, like you literally played for the backs of the chair, and like you came out with the Bob Marley song, and I'm like, they didn't turn around right away. So I'm like, bitch, what are you guys waiting for? Like, turn the fuck around. You know what I mean? Like, he's killing it. And then finally they turned around and I was like, oh, and then having your parents and your girlfriend and stuff light up as soon as the chairs turned around. That was pretty cool. I mean, in mid song when they turned around, like that must have felt good, but you still was still going. You know what I mean? You couldn't be like, okay,
Dude. I mean, okay, look. Okay, so I practiced that song probably 200 times leading up to that, right? And in my mind, I'm going through each part, like where could they turn, right? And so I'm thinking, okay, when I first come in, the very first line, my tone is there, and I hit like some pretty interesting notes, and so they could potentially turn right off the bat. And then so I'm going through, and then at the very end, I'm like belting these big notes.
yeah.
Is this love that I feel? And I'm like, okay, this is the big note. You know, they're gonna turn here if they're gonna, if they're gonna turn it off, it's right here. And they didn't turn there. And like,
That's exactly what I was thinking
bro,
watching it.
I'm like, oh shit, I'm like not gonna make it. Oh crap, I should have started packing last night. No, holy crap, I got an instant pot. No, um, but no, and then when they actually turned, like the clip, there's a clip of me right after they turn. You can see my eyes, like they get really big. I'm like, I look at both of them, and I'm like, oh shit, and I kind of get overwhelmed. And is this love? Normally I'll do that one breath, and I had to like, I lost my breath. I was like, is this love? I like had to like pause. It was crazy. Like,
that's crazy.
yeah, it was intense,
though,
man. It was intense.
What made you pick Kelly Clarkson?
The jacket, if I'm being honest.
Oh, yup. Hey, that's some behind the scenes shit. Because what's his name? Blake. Bro. Blake was like pitching you, man. Like he's showing all his awards.
Yeah.
Or he was bragging. One of those.
I probably would have had. Honestly, I probably would have had a better chance with Blake's team. But at the end of the day, I think I fit better on Gwen's team. So when I got stolen from Kelly's team to Gwen's team, it was a perfect thing that could have happened to me. I think perfect.
I thought you would have matched up with her just genre wise because she's more.
She never turned.
Yeah, that's what I thought was gonna turn first.
Exactly. Same here. If only one of them turned, I thought it was Gwen because of the Bob Marley.
Yeah.
But she didn't turn. And what she told me was she had her hand over John's name to block him because she was waiting for him to turn. And then when he turned, she was gonna block him. But he ended up not turning, so she didn't turn. But at the end of the day, she ended up stealing me, and I was the only one who got stolen that actually won his knockout round. So like, I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. The only steal that made it to the lives, but it's all good, man. Like it was, to me, it was a crazy experience, and I got out of it more than I thought I would.
Oh, for sure. What I loved about it was how you repped Hawaii and your family, and right, it just radiated in your performance. And right, it's cool, like to see a friend on TV in front, like it's just crazy. It's a cool thing. And how was it behind the scenes, like with the contestants, where you guys kind of like at each other, like, bro, I'm gonna smoke you this round, or is like kind of supportive?
No, dude, like we're all like best friends, man. We're like a family. We're all going through it, and we all understand the circumstances and the stakes. And we also all understand that it's really not in our control. And then that all we can do is go out there and give it the best that we can and make the most of this opportunity. Like, and that's one thing that I think, being 34 going into this opportunity and having the experience that I have in the industry, I didn't approach this as my big break, or like, this is it, everything, it's all about the voice. If I don't win the voice, it's over. I approached this as a flash in the pan, kind of a little like hitting a nitrous boost, it's a little, this is my car, this is a little nice, thank you so much, you got me ahead a little bit, you saved me some time and effort. But at the end of the day, I'm on the same trajectory that I was before the show. Like I said, I just moved a little forward, a little quicker, and me and a lot of the contestants had long talks about it, and we all pretty much agree, like, just make the most of this opportunity. If you get on the blinds, you got one chance on TV. If you get past the blinds to the battles, you got 2 chances. I made it to the live, so I had 4 chances, and I was on a Google commercial. Holy crap, that's more I could have ever asked for, you know. So
That's
um,
awesome.
we all kind of created like I don't want to say a brotherhood because there's a lot of women in there, but just a family, you know. We still keep in touch to this day.
Oh,
It's pretty
that's
cool.
super cool. That's awesome. So you made friends then. That
Definitely, yeah.
eventually you guys don't know where the life can take you, and
Hmm.
right, you guys could do stuff together eventually.
No, yeah, we have. I mean, I've already have done a Christmas collab with some of the guys, and
Oh wow.
I have a couple projects in the works, and then I'm actually working on some shows where I'll feature just one of my season 19 members at like Blue Note or something. I'll have them come down for
Oh,
a
that would
few
be
songs.
sick.
So I'm working on it. I already have 3 that are planning trips in the near future. So just a matter of getting some stuff together for us.
I read some post on your Instagram about when Gwen Stefani brought out about your falsetto, which is like you said, kind of known in Hawaii. And like I read through like what like Gabby Pops and all like those kind of people. So
Mhm.
how was that bringing that kind of music to like a mainstream kind of thing? That's crazy though. Like most Americans or people in the mainland don't really get to experience that. Maybe country music. I don't know.
Honestly, I don't know. I feel like what we have here is super, super unique. And you can find evidence in that in everything from our music to our food, to our ethnicities. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm like 7 different things. So it's like, um, so essentially, like we're super unique in the sense that our music is very unique to us. Yeah, we have influences from Jamaica or blues or jazz, but at the end of the day, it's what we have here. It's we're just influenced, and I think that it's kind of special that when you show up to a party, a lot of times you're showing up with your ukulele or your guitar in hand. At least that,
Yeah.
in my experience, that's what it was. And those parties happen every weekend or every other weekend at your uncle's
Yeah,
house,
for
then your
sure. Yeah.
cousin's house, and then somebody's got a first birthday and this and that. So it's, I mean, shucks, at my house we used to just get together every month with my grandparents' friends, and they would just jam out in our back patio, and that's kind of where I got my start. And so I um I don't think that's a thing, on the mainland. Unless you're from Hawaii, or I feel like Hispanic families kind of
Mm,
have that vibe as well. But even then, I feel like it's more like structured at those types of events, from my experience, from what I've seen. Whereas
that's true.
with us, it's just a jam session, but those jam
Yeah.
sessions are badass, and that's kind of what breeds, the Fijis and the Ekolus of our world here.
I never thought about that. I've been to like house parties in the mainland. Nobody busts out a uke or guitars. Yeah, in Hawaii, there isn't a party where someone busts out a uke or a guitar. Yeah, always get
Mhm.
that one brother that's performing in his head. You know what I mean? But
Exactly.
yeah, that's
Exactly.
cool.
I mean, yeah.
So, how are you gonna parlay what you learned and stuff? What's your next moves? Like, what is the future hold for you?
So basically, just the one thing that the show offered me was the opportunity to get out of the live jukebox world that I've kind of been in for, say, the last 8 years full time. And though it's a lot of fun and I enjoy it, it's just not. It's like, honestly, it's like DJing in a club, like being the opening and closing DJ in the club, not being the headliner. And yeah, it's cool. Yeah, it's steady. Yeah, it's fun, but it's not a career. And it's not your future. So basically, I wanted to step away from doing those bar and restaurant gigs where I'm kind of just background music, and focus more on putting original content out and doing
Fast.
more like one-off shows, every month or every couple months, like the one I have coming up. But essentially, like, yeah, just putting out more content, and focusing more on building my live sets, and creating a demand for what I what I bring to the table as a live performer, because what I offer is a lot different than people I think are used to.
For sure.
Like just being able to kind of bridge the gap between being a DJ and being a live performer, I think is pretty unique in itself. But I structure my sets like a DJ, and then I think that's one thing that most live performers don't have, is that experience on. Okay, for example, like I had a show last night. Ito Shan Ishizaki.
Yeah. I seen that post. Yeah.
I performed at his birthday party last night. It was just a small little get together.
Where was that? I couldn't picture. I thought it was the old W.
It was a restaurant right next door to 939. It's called Cafe Hoku or something. I believe Stu bought it.
Okay.
But yeah, it was just empty. I mean, a couple tables and just a few people. But me and my fiance have been kind of going back and forth, because one of the songs that I want to start covering is Nelly Furtado's "Say It Right."
Oh, that's a rough one.
But I mean, for example, it's fairly obscure.
Yeah.
Especially for a 300-pound Hawaiian guy to sing. But last night was my first time attempting it. But let me tell you, if all 10 of those people weren't singing the chorus at the top of their lungs, and that to me is something that I knew was going to happen, because I've played that song in the club before, and that's what happens when I play that song as a DJ. And
so that's where your DJ skills are. I'm
programming my live sets like a DJ, and that's something I think that is fairly unique to what I offer. As I'm just thinking about.
Thinking in that terms, can you on the fly change your set? Like most DJs, like I watch them, like they're not structured where they can just pick a song and like they'll read the crowd and use a certain song. Can you do the same with your live set? Like change it around?
When I do the background jukebox music, I can. And ultimately, yeah, I could. I would have to pre-program that ability into my set to where, like, say I have, I don't know, if it's, let's say the song is 5 minutes and I have an hour, that's 12 songs. Say I say I do 30 different songs, but I'm going to do these 12 songs on this hour. I could set it up to where instead of these 4 songs, I'll do these other 4 songs, and I can do that on the fly. I could definitely do that on the fly. But in terms of like, if it's outside of those 30 songs, I wouldn't necessarily be able to do that. But at the same time, if I know how to play it, it would be at my disposal, so to speak. So even if it wasn't at my disposal, I wouldn't know how to play it to begin with. That's so true. I couldn't help you at all in that sense. But what's pretty crazy is in my live set, I don't just do like live music. I incorporate acapellas and like drum loops. I mean, to give you an idea, I don't know if this will show up well on the live stream, but I was just doing some programming.
Oh, wow. Is that Pro Tools?
It's actually Ableton Live.
Okay.
And then this is one of my MIDI controllers, but I'm just basically all those different lights do different things within Ableton. And so I'm basically programming in the different, things that this controls. And then here's my keyboard that I play live. But yeah, it's just, it can get pretty intricate. But that's, being a DJ and musician, it's just trying to figure out how to put them all together. Because that's crazy. I don't want to not be a DJ anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love being a DJ.
Well, you're good at it.
Thank you, bro. It's literally my passion. Like, I love it so much. But unless you're like a Tiesto, then there's no future in it, I hate to say. Yeah. And I don't want to just do weddings for the rest of my life. They're fun, but
well, you can always play for us.
Yeah, no, that's true. I'm down for that, for sure. Yeah. I forget if I'm successful. I was gonna say, if I'm successful as Joseph Soul, then maybe I'll finally make it in Vegas as a celebrity DJ.
Well, you could sing and DJ.
Well, that's what
you do your own after party,
right? With a guest appearance by DJ Odyssey.
Yeah, when you're performing live, So you have your keyboard, like what instruments, like how are you coming in? Like,
So currently, if people have seen me perform live in the past, I would say maybe a year and a half, which wouldn't have been very often, but I play keyboards, I play guitar, but then I also have a pedal that makes my guitar sound like a bass. And then within my keyboards, I have drum samples, I have percussion samples, I have multiple different sounds on the keyboards to give me different options. Like for example, the song "Talk" by Khalid, I have a little synth that I'll play instead of like a piano sound, just specifically for that one song. And then, like I said, I have drum loops pre-programmed, as well as acapellas. So, for example, when I'm playing a specific song, I could bring in like a Biggie verse and have literally Biggie acapella over this one song. And what I could even do from there is delete the loop that I built prior and then build a new loop while Biggie's rapping. And then it's like I'm mixing in a different beat, like I'm DJing. So essentially, yeah, it's kind of...
So essentially, you're DJing while you're performing and singing live.
Exactly.
Oh, so you're a multitasker.
Exactly. Exactly.
And you can do a dab before all that.
I'm doing dabs during it too now. This little contraption. This little contraption's pretty amazing.
Oh, what is that? Honey stick.
It's the honey. It's called the honey badger. But yeah.
Oh, nice.
It's my baby.
So you mentioned your concert coming up. What's happening with that? Like that's pretty soon, huh?
Yeah, March 11th, 12th, and 13th. We sold out the 13th. We're pretty close to selling out the 12th, and we just added the 11th, and I think we already sold a couple tables
nice.
for Thursday the 11th. But it's at Workplay in Kaka'ako, a very intimate setting.
Yeah, that place is cool.
And, yeah, it's pretty chill, and I was kind of trying to hold out for like a Blue Note or Hawaiian Brian's, but the crew at Workplay is amazing, and they've been reaching out to me since I've been home, and before I got home, in fact. Dave, I think he's one of the owners or managers there. He heard me at a show, and he's been trying to get me to play there for a minute. And like I said, I've been trying to get out of doing the background music thing for a while, honestly. And so I've been trying to avoid it. And then especially being home from the show, like I don't want to just play at a smaller venue. I want to parlay that opportunity into doing bigger things. But like I said, they're great people there, and they kept reaching out to me, and finally we agreed on an offer that I pretty much just couldn't refuse, and something that works out for both of us. And yeah, I'm super stoked to have my first shows home, after The Voice, at Workplay, because I think it kind of gives me a good idea to gauge, what I bring to the table, I guess, and if people want what I'm offering with my set and how unique it is, as well as like just what I have to offer, I guess.
Well, I think just to see you perform plus all your equipment and music, like I would want to just see that alone. But I think we first had you at our Aloha Laulea concert at Aloha Tower, and that's when you're with Jenny, right? Performing with Jenny. Yeah,
she was singing backup for me. It was actually my CD release party.
Yeah, I remember that.
I just got my album, overdue.
Yeah, that's when I first heard your. Yeah. So for your concert now, how long is your set?
Oh, doing an hour and a half.
Oh wow, that's a long one.
It's chill, man. I'm used to doing 4 hours, 3 hours, hour and a half. I'm like, damn, I get used to this.
one and done. That'd be awesome. How can people get your tickets?
On my bio on my Instagram, I've got the link. I don't know the exact link, but I know it's on Workplay's website. They have the option to buy tickets to their upcoming events. I think it's workplay.com or workplayhi.com. But yeah, if not, then just go to my Instagram at Joseph Soul, and the link is in my bio. But right now, I think we only got a few tables left for Friday, and we just opened up Thursday. So if you're able to come out Thursday night, then you get a bunch of options.
Cool. That's crazy. By the time this thing drops, it might already be sold out. That would be cool. Might
That'd
have
be
to
cool
add a
to
Wednesday.
grow. I mean, I'm thinking I was texting and adding a Sunday potentially, but yeah, we our Saturday went on sale last Wednesday, and we sold that out in 2 days. And to me, it's just mind blowing because this is my first time doing a show like this where I'm actually selling tickets and it's my show, and people are coming to see me perform live. It's not like I'm playing at Monkey Pod where, oh, we
Yeah,
happen to be having dinner and that's the guy performing. It's a lot
that's
different.
true.
So
They're
the stakes are
coming to
higher.
see you in specific.
They're coming to see what I have to offer, and so that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Like the stakes are just higher. So I just hope I don't go out there and people kind of don't understand. I'm sure people understand what I'm doing, and hopefully they'll enjoy and appreciate it. But yeah, man, I'm actually really looking forward to it. Playing last night at
Are you
John's party.
nervous?
I wouldn't even say I'm nervous. I'm more just excited.
Yeah.
It's a little stressful because one thing that I'm very keen on, and one thing that I'm very like, I've always kind of wanted to do something like this when my career reached this point where I can do 3 shows in a row, is I want different sets every night. You know
Oh
what I mean? Like,
wow.
I mean, it's not hard. Like, I feel like it's when it's just me or me. Like, I have a bass player. When it's just us two, it's not hard to put 3 sets together like that. I mean, it's the differences are probably going to be song order and then maybe like a half an hour worth of songs that are specific to each day. And maybe I'll do themes, like Thursday will be a specific artist or whatever, like. But I just believe in like why not, like give people be a performer, man. Like what if there's somebody out there that came all 3 days because they love you so much.
Yeah.
They're gonna trip out when they see 3 different sets, back to back to
That's
back.
crazy.
And it's not hard. I mean, even when on tour, like here's one thing that I envisioned myself, and I'm a big believer of envisioning things for yourself. But like, you go on tour, you do 30 days. I want to have 4 different sets, A, B, C, and D, and have all 4 sets completely rehearsed and memorized front to back. And today we're in Tahoe, we're doing set C. Tomorrow we're in San Francisco, we're doing set A. The next day we're in Santa Clara, we're doing set D. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to do 30 same sets in a row. Like, to me, that's ridiculous.
That's true.
There's going to be people there that will come to multiple shows, and I want to give them a unique experience every time. And I feel like it's possible at every level, really, not just as a soloist. But I mean, if you have a 10-piece band, you guys can do it. It's just putting in the extra work.
Plus, too, you won't get bored.
You don't get bored, but
yeah.
margin for error is a lot bigger now because like you can be playing set D and the drummer might think you're doing set C, but like the benefit of how we perform with technology now, and especially using a program like Ableton, like most bands perform with nowadays, they perform with backing tracks, is you can have in your ears, your drummer is going to hear, like for example, my bass player at the workplace shows, he's going to have things like bridge 2, 3, 4. And then, for the next song, it's going to have, say where I'm doing Daniel Caesar Get You, it'll be Get You in F sharp minor, intro, 2, 3, 4, and they'll have the metronome at the same time, And so it's like, it takes the guesswork out of it. You don't have to remember everything, and you don't have to have a piece of paper on the floor with your set list. It's all in your ears. You got the cues, there's no excuse now.
That's crazy. Technology is awesome.
It's incredible, man. It's really incredible.
Yeah.
And what's funny is because people fight it, but like if you embrace it, like the possibilities could be endless. Anyway.
Yeah, you can level up.
Definitely, exactly.
Well, we're trying to get to your show, me and Taylor, so we'll figure it out. I remember when you posted on your Instagram, who would come watch me live? I'm like, me, I would. And then you're like, oh, and then you posted the flyer, and I was like, oh, yup. That's super cool. I'm glad you're doing it, and like this is your first, I guess, headlining event.
Yeah,
and it's already sold out. You have to add more shows. That's pretty crazy. Sick.
Yeah,
well, I think the Aloha that you showed when you were on the show resonated with the people here, and of course they're gonna support you and come check you out. Plus, you're good, so that helps.
I think what's crazy is a lot of the people that bought tables are like people that work at like Monkey Pod or Moani or Mai Tais, or people that like have come to my shows there and really have supported me at venues like that throughout the years, those are the people that are reaching out to me saying, hey, we got tables, you know. So
Nice.
it's not so many, you know, it's not so much new fans. I'm sure there are new people coming that saw me on The Voice for the first time or what have you, but for the most part, people that are reaching out to me are like friends and people like you know, like you and Taylor wanting to come out. Like that to me means so much, man. Like, you know, I don't know, I play 5 days a week and nobody would come out to any of those shows, you know. So now to have made it to a point where like I can get somebody like you and Taylor to come out, that'd be crazy, you know. Like it's pretty incredible to me.
Well, we did come and check you out DJing in Vegas.
Yeah, for sure,
Nah,
for sure.
I'm just playing.
But I think what's craziest to me is that when I made the transition from singing to from DJing to singing, nobody would come watch me sing. They would never come watch me sing, and damn rodents. um, anyway, like a lot of people wouldn't come watch me sing. Like I used to play at the living room every Thursday, and we get like 3-4 people maybe, and I wouldn't know any of them. A lot of time they'd be students not from here, or like tourists looking for somewhere and happen to stumble upon living room. And the shit that we did there was so dope, but just
Yeah.
you know, people weren't ready for it. And I'm trying to sing as DJ Odyssey because I had kind of established myself as a DJ, and so I wanted to kind of go off of that name. I mean, my biggest mentor in my career has been Cutmaster Spaz, and
Oh, nice.
I kind of tried to follow his trajectory in a sense where like he established himself as a DJ, you know, was on the radio and stuff, and then used his what is the word for fame that I'm looking for? His clout, I guess, locally to release music, his own music, and from there parlayed it into a TV career. And so that's kind of maybe not the same exact, you know, footprint, but that's essentially what I've been trying to do with my career is you know, I started as a DJ and I kind of made some noise. I won a couple competitions. And I wanted to parlay that success into my live music career. And unfortunately, it didn't work like that for me. When DJ Odyssey was performing live, people thought he was DJing, and nobody wanted to come see me when there's only 3 people at the living room on Thursday when they can come see me at Vice or Paparazzi on Friday when it's packed, you know, or you know. So it's like, it was difficult, and that's why Joseph Soul came to be, so that people could identify, you know, what was what. But you know, to have an opportunity now where I can call somebody like Tech or Flip or Jonah and be like, hey guys, I have a concert coming up. Do you want to DJ? You know, do you want to host my concert? It's crazy. It feels amazing.
That's super cool, man.
It's like almost like full circle. Like this is, well, I guess what I was getting at when I switched from DJing to singing was I had to pay my dues again. I paid my dues as a DJ, but I didn't realize I was going to have to pay them all over again as a singer. That's kind of what doing those 6 days a week at Moani and Monkey Pod and the equivalent up in California, that's kind of what that was. You know, it was paying my dues, and without that, I wouldn't have developed the range or the control or the experience that I got. And so everything happens for a reason, man. Like I wasn't ready for this opportunity 10 years ago, and that's why I never got it. You know.
Well, like you said, that's your education, and education doesn't always come from a classroom, and you learn that and learn how to perform by doing it. And bro, look how far it got you, and who knows how far this is gonna take you, bro. Like your concert might be at a little stadium one day, or not, maybe not because they're closing it. But
maybe at the Kapolei Stadium, which would be crazy considering like I'm from Makilo and went to Kapolei High School, and some of my first performances were in Kapolei, so that'd be kind of crazy.
That's
full
awesome.
Circle.
That means you're already dreaming like that. So that's the main thing, bro. I mean, all you need is a dream and a goal, and just gotta check off boxes to get you there. And you have, obviously.
Yeah, man. You just gotta believe you just gotta believe in what you want and believe that you can get it. And honestly, if it's meant to be, I gotta make that clear. If it's meant to be, it'll happen. Sometimes it's not meant to be, and no matter how hard you try or how hard you work, it's just not gonna happen. It's not meant to be. And sometimes it is meant to be, and you just don't work hard enough, and that's why it never happens for you. You know,
That
like a
makes
lot of
sense.
athletes, super talented athletes, they just don't put the work in, they never make it. It's my cousin, he's a super talented softball player, like slow pitch softball player, has had his name on multiple bats that people swing when they play in tournaments and league, and very successful as a softball player. Has a little company and a saying called GWT, greatest wasted talent, and that happens so much. You know, just people
Yep.
don't put the work in, but it was meant to be for them. So my whole thing is, if it's meant to be and you put the work in, it'll happen, no
Yep.
doubt.
That's exactly true. I've known a lot of fighters, like when I used to compete, or when we're teaching, the
Hmm.
the kids with the most natural talent aren't the ones that go far. It's the ones that have all right talent, but their work ethic is the ones that take them, and they can get talented, and that's the ones that
Yeah,
do good.
you know, I think a lot of it has to do with like, and not saying that I'm talented or anything, but I do feel like I can relate in a sense, because a lot of things that I try to do kind of come easy to me. And when that happens, you're less interested sometimes in trying to get better at it.
Oh, and that
You
makes
know,
sense.
so I feel like when you're maybe less talented, and I hate using that phrase, because to me, talent is just your ability to memorize shit. Really, that's what it comes down to, and regurgitate it. And to me, somebody with, you know, fuck, you could be an electrician, and that shit is talent to me. You know,
Yep,
like your
you're
ability
right.
to memorize all the different codes and all that shit. Like that's so talented. But anyway, my the point that I'm getting at is like sometimes when things aren't easy, but you're interested in it and you want to be better, that's that's where you get that work ethic from. You know.
That makes total sense. And I've definitely ran into that in my life a lot. And I've seen myself not hit my goals because of my work ethic. And I see myself exceed my goals because of my work ethic. And
Hmm.
that's super true. So when you're not performing, and like, what do you do for fun, bro? Like, how do you unwind, dude? Like, I feel like you're working a lot, but it's fun work. But what do you do to just when you're cruising?
Well, you know what I like to do. Yell four. I like to yell four a lot. Four. I like to golf, man. Golf has been. I fell in love with, or I started golfing in January of 2020.
Oh, so
Pre-pandemic.
recently then.
Yeah, recently, bro. Like
Oh,
that's
I
just
thought you've been doing it for a
no,
minute.
no, no. My thing is softball. Slow pitch softball has been my thing for a minute, and then I got into flag football back in like 2016, 2017, and then I got injured playing flag football in 2018. And then I had to have major surgery for it, and then they botched the surgery. I got multiple infections, and as a result, like I probably won't be able to like run or sprint anymore.
So
Um,
you could say you're an injured athlete then, an injured
Essentially,
football player.
yeah.
Yeah.
Back in the day, you know, an uncle was in his 30s and he was trying to relive his NFL dreams. He was woken up, and then when he realized later he didn't have the medical plan of NFL players. Oh.
Oh.
I tore my Achilles in May of 2018. I actually haven't really told this story, so
Oh
if you have
shit.
a few minutes, I'll get into
Yeah, we got all the
it.
time in the world.
um, I was playing pretty competitive flag football. Every Saturday we would get together, and it's kind of like pickup flag football, but it's legit. Like they have the permits for the field, we have to sign waivers, we pay for the league every week.
Was that the Hoy's
D1.
Finest League?
No, this is in Cali. This is up in Cali.
Oh, in Cali.
Yeah, in Orange County. Remember, I just moved home recently, like
That's right.
maybe
That's
a year and
right.
a couple
Yeah,
months
yeah,
ago.
yeah. Yep.
And so, bro, I'm talking like D1 players. Was one kid from fuck, where did he play for Utah? The Utes. What is that? BYU or Utah? Who's the
Utah?
Utes? Utah. He was a
I think so.
D1. He was a middle linebacker. But when he was in the off season, he would come and play just to get reps in. Um, yeah, like some JUCO quarterbacks were our quarterbacks. So it's like legit guys, you know, like, and then there's freaking guys like me over the hill and just whatever, want to get out and have some fun. But I tore my Achilles one day, and then like drove home, my right Achilles, drove home, played 2 shows the next day, 3 hours apiece. And I stood up back then. And the next day I went to the doctor. So I tore it Saturday, I went to the doctor Monday, told him I'm pretty sure I tore it. sounded like plastic snapping, felt like something snapped in there. And then when I
Oh
took my
wow.
cleat off, it felt like I was wearing a high heel. Like it felt like I was walking like this, but I was flat.
Oh
Um,
wow.
and he goes, well, if it was torn, you wouldn't have been able to walk in here. I think you'll be fine. You just need to rest it and rice method, rest, ice, compression, and elevate. Just do that, you'll be fine. Bro, like literally the 2-minute appointment. Like just in, you wouldn't have
What?
walked in here if it was torn. You're fine. Didn't even give me time of day. And I'm like,
Wow.
and bro, but in my head, like as a patient, oh, I'm gonna be fine. Sweet. I don't need
Yeah.
surgery. Oh,
That's what you
awesome.
wanted to hear.
That's
Yeah.
what you want to hear. Like, so I'm not gonna argue that. I don't know any better. I'm not educated in this field. Like, and so yeah, I did exactly what he told me. Didn't get any better. So like a couple months later, I saw my PCP. I told her the same thing. Like, look, a couple months back, I think I tore my Achilles, but the guy told me it wasn't torn. Same thing. Oh, she did the Thompson test. All right, you're fine. It's fine. You're like, what is this then? It feels like my Achilles is rolled up right here. And she goes, oh, that's just liquid. I'm like, what the fuck? How do I get rid of it? Oh, you can't. It's just there forever. I'm like, what the fuck kind of doctor are you?
Didn't
And
even
so I'm like,
X-ray it or anything.
she goes, you know what? Well, let's just send you to physical therapy. Maybe you have a strain. Bro, I go to physical therapy. The physical therapist watches me walk in to the office, like to the room. He's like, turn around and walk back. And okay, come here. Why are you here? You need to have surgery. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, let me see. Yeah, dude, there's a gap right here. Like your Achilles looks like you're torn. When you walked in here, you were walking on your heel. You weren't putting any pressure on your toes. I wasn't doing this. I was doing this. And that's how I've been walking. That's how I walked into the doctor's office both times, was on my heel. That's how I've been walking since I tore it. I still
Damn.
kind of walk like that because I don't have the calf muscle that I used to. So, bro, I went 7 months before I had
7
surgery.
months with a torn Achilles.
7 months, bro. Tore it in May, got surgery in January. Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
7
And so,
months.
yeah, bro, like my scar goes from the middle of my calf all the way down to my heel. It's like
So
pretty
when
long.
they fixed it, it was like night and day, I would assume.
You would assume. Yeah. So surgery in January, everything goes well, everything's fine. Side note, I have really bad psoriasis, and I'm on an immunosuppressant for it. So let's just keep that in mind, right? We're smart. We're pretty. I mean, we're fairly reasonably intelligent
We're good.
individuals.
We're
We're
good.
not stupid. We're not
We're
stupid.
good.
We're
Yeah.
good. I'm on an immunosuppressant for psoriasis, right? We know what suppressant means, and we know what
Yeah.
it suppresses my immune system. Okay, anyway, moving on. Third week of physical therapy. So my third physical therapy session, homeboy's like, you look pretty good. Let's try this. He has me doing like full weight, like what is it called? If I'm standing on the tip of a stair and I'm like doing this on the stair, like this.
Okay.
Bro, in week 3, it gets infected.
Oh shit.
And they put me on the same kind of medication that they would put my 320-pound fiance on, who's not on an immunosuppressant.
Oh
They just put me on a
man.
regular ass antibiotic or whatever. Like, and what happens is, and what we found out later, because this was the only time, it got rid of the flesh infection, but there's hella suture in my leg holding my tendon together and all that shit.
Yeah, yeah.
And what happens is the infection was living in the suture. So it would get rid of the flesh infection. I would be fine again. But because the virus or whatever was still in there, it was still susceptible to getting infected again.
Oh.
It got infected. It got infected again in May. Got infected again in July. And they're prescribing me the same medication at the same dose. Like, I'm still on the immunosuppressant, guys. Did that not ever dawn on you? But I don't know anything about medication. You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, cool. You guys, they ask me when I come in, are you still on Embro? Yes. Okay, cool. Thank you. Like, but they don't take it into consideration. So finally, the 4th time, bro, this is a wild story. I'm sorry. I've never really.
No, it is crazy, bro. I'm tripping.
Yeah, it's not, bro. Like, I could have cancer. I could have so many other things. You know what I mean? But I just tore my Achilles. I still have my legs. I can still walk. Fucking, you know what I mean? I'm good. Like, but it's still kind of crazy, the shit that happened. But anyway, yeah. So moving on. 2 weeks before I need to move out of my apartment in Cali, like my fiance is finishing up. She's getting her PhD. We're moving out of our apartment. We live on campus in grad housing, so we have to be out, in 2 weeks. But so 2 weeks from now, the first week of those 2 weeks, she has a conference in Amsterdam. Right before she has that conference, like 2 or 3 days, I get infected again. And I go to the ER, and this time they admit me. So I'm hospitalized, and my surgeon brings in an infectious diseases doctor, and he wants to keep me for like 2 weeks. Like, he wants to keep me for 10 days and pump me full of antibiotics. Mind you, I need to be out of my apartment in 2 weeks.
It's a nightmare.
It's a nightmare. My fiance's leaving for Amsterdam for like a week. Like, and so like, who's gonna move out of our apartment? You know what I mean? Like, it's just us in the 2-bedroom. I have my studio and our whole fucking house. Like, what I told him was like, look, dude, he's the one. So he basically was explaining to me why it keeps getting infected, and it's because they put me on Keflix and it's not strong enough because of my immunosuppressant. In addition, the bacteria or whatever is living in the suture, and what's happening is when a little bit of flesh tears, a little bit of scar tissue flares, it seeps into that scar tissue and causes another infection. So anytime I overexert it just a little bit, when in normal cases it would be fine, it would just reheal and get stronger. Because the infection is still living in there, it seeps in and recauses the same infection over and over again. They weren't treating it properly. They were treating it with too low of a dosage. It was just Band-Aid, stops bleeding, but the wound is still there, gets cut open, starts bleeding again. Like a boxer's cut on their eye, you know what I mean? Like, so,
yep.
So essentially, he wants to pump me full of antibiotics and get rid of this thing. And I'm like, dog, you don't understand. I need to move out of my apartment. We live on campus. Like, this is the, you know what I mean? Like, I can't get an extension. We already got an extension. Like, my fiance's going to a fucking conference for a week. Like, there's nobody there that's going to do this. Give me the same shit that's going to let me go back to my regular life. And mind you, I'm moving to Hawaii in 3 weeks. You know what I mean? Like, I need to be out of my shit in 2 weeks, and then moving to Hawaii in 3 weeks. So, like, no, I can't be hospitalized right now. So I just went right back on the same shit, and then, I moved home, and then my doctor here was like, he didn't care about my leg. He wanted to focus on my psoriasis. And I'm like, bro, I don't think you get it. And it's just been, and then the pandemic hit. So, dog, like, I haven't had physical therapy since then. So, like, that's when I got into golf, and I got into golf because I want to play a sport, and I'm a really competitive athlete. Even though I'm fat, I just really enjoy competing and running and doing stuff. And so with golf, I can hit the ball far, even if it doesn't go straight. I enjoy hitting it hard and far. You know what I mean? Like,
for sure.
Yeah, just like.
So is your leg all healed up?
No.
What?
Yeah, no, bro, far from it. That's what I'm saying. Like, I haven't had physical therapy since April of 2019, almost 2 years. But
infection-wise, it's done.
I think so. I hope so.
Maybe just Hawaii fucking cured you.
My psoriasis got worse, and it is attacking that area of my leg. But ultimately, like, my calf muscle, I might have 20% of it, maybe. Whoa. Okay, for example, when I was on The Voice, like, getting in and out of the minivans, my leg would cramp up a lot, like my calf muscle, because it's so weak that just that action of getting in the vans was putting too much. And bro, I'm drinking hella water when I'm out there, so it's not dehydration. It's straight up like just I don't have enough muscle to do certain things.
Hopefully they can get that all fixed up, man.
Yeah. Hopefully, man. We'll see. I don't know.
Well, on a super happy note, your fiance is expecting, right?
Yeah, hopefully she gets a job. She's expecting a job because we really didn't tell anybody in public yet about that.
Okay, we can edit that part out. Oh, you fucker. I was like, oh, I didn't blow the whistle.
It's all good. No, I was supposed to
I was like, good thing this ain't live, dude.
No, yeah, it's all good.
When are you expecting the bus to come?
Yeah, no, the letter should come in any week now to find out where she's gonna work. No, No, just joking. I was supposed to make like so we're having a little boy in June, and
Yes.
I finally got the okay from her to like make a public post. We were kind of just waiting to
All
tell a few
right.
people that like we don't want to be offended when they see a post if we didn't tell them in person.
Nice.
And so we pretty much finished up that list, and so now I got the green. And I'm a very like open person, especially on social media. Like I'm sure
Yeah.
there are like a lot of people, especially I have a lot of friends and family, you know what I mean, that care, that are interested, that I might not talk to on a regular basis, but they
Yeah.
follow a lot. They follow what I post a lot on social media, and they understand that like that's their connection to me, and I understand that too. That's my connection to them, and even the interaction on a post. You know, if I post a picture of me and her, I'll respond to their comments, and that's
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people I've done from softball to golf to jiu-jitsu, like just all the different things that I've done in my life. I've made incredible friends from being a DJ and meeting guys like you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so I know that there are people out there, and then I've got like hundreds of cousins. I mean, my dad's first cousins, he's probably got 40, maybe more.
Well, you
Um,
probably got like 2,000 more since being on The Voice.
at least. No, yeah, my extended family has grown exponentially, and it's all good. I won't deny any of them. You're all my cousins. So when I like borrow money, don't forget.
Yeah.
When I come
So
over for
what?
dinner, you freakers.
So you're gonna be a dad, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. It changed my life. And you think your drive and drip for your career now, when you have that kid, bruh, your focus and your drive is gonna be razor laser, bruh. You're gonna be,
Yeah,
I like honestly that's gonna take your career super high just for that alone. Just because your drive is gonna be so focused to provide for your son.
big time. Yep.
That's kind of what happened with me. And bruh, you're gonna level up quick. Like it's gonna happen. It already is, but
Oh,
I'm
for
pretty
sure.
happy for you, man. When bruh, you're just gonna have an awesome time being a dad. Like
I
I can
can't wait.
already tell.
I can't wait, man. I love him so much.
Yeah.
I was just kissing her belly earlier and like telling him that I loved him. And what did I said something like
Yeah.
I was singing to him or something, and he kicked the exact spot that like I was kissing and talking to. It was pretty crazy.
Nice.
Like while I was kissing him, he like kicked right there. So it's like
He hears you, man.
it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy, man. Like it's real. It's real, man. Like we're
Yup.
3 months
Real.
away.
Yup.
It's real, bro. Like, yeah, man. I'm so excited.
That's gonna be awesome, bro. Like I would talk to my daughter when she's in the belly. I'd tell her, "Daddy loves you. Daddy loves you,"
Mhm.
and I never stopped saying it every night, bruh. It's crazy, and bruh, I'm so stoked. You're gonna be such a great dad, bruh. It's gonna be awesome.
I
When are you
hope
guys
so,
getting
man.
married? Since she's your
Actually, right now,
fiance.
yeah, we're looking at like December
Oh,
of
nice.
this year. Yeah, like the pandemic kind of threw a wrench in things, and then
Yeah.
also like we weren't planning to have our baby this early. She's doing a postdoc fellowship in Boston right now, so technically she's not even supposed to be home right now. But thanks to the pandemic, she's been working remotely since May. And then when I did the voice thing, my whole thing was like, well, we're both getting old, so we don't want to wait too long before we start our
Yeah.
family. But when I hit the voice, like for me, that was I felt comfortable with if I don't get to do music anymore because I have to go get a regular job to support my family. At least I was on the voice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if that's the pinnacle of my music career, fuck, that's dope. I'm cool with that. And so
I
that's
don't
kind
think
of
so
why
though.
I hope not.
I think
Honestly,
you
but
just scratched the surface, bruh.
I hope so, man.
Yeah.
I hope so. I think so too. I think just from what I'm seeing and what I'm experiencing, I was trying to run away from music just because it's so unpredictable and it's so finicky and it's like so like what's hot today. Excuse me. I'm old, man. I got an early tea time tomorrow. um, what's hot today isn't necessarily going to be hot tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's very boom, 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 and so I mean, honestly, like I've been trying to. I had one foot out before I got the opportunity for the voice. I was kind of just doing it because it's easy. I mean, those jukebox gigs, the
Yeah.
Moanis, the Monkey Pods, they're easy, for guys like us, solo artists, and for our time, they pay amazingly. Really, I mean, for a 2-hour gig, if you're getting $200, that's $100 an hour. So, I mean, for your time, they pay amazingly. Now,
Yeah.
for a career, it sucks. You're just scraping that $200 is pre-tax.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and then you're basically just scraping by. You'd have to do 6 or 7 to make any kind of decent living here in Hawaii. And by then, at least in my experience, you're exhausted. I didn't want to put the work in after gigging, doing 6 3-hour sets of other people's shit,
Yeah. Yeah.
and constantly having to learn new songs that people want to hear and having to play fucking Tennessee whiskey 7 times a week. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yep.
it gets old fast, man. And it's like, yeah, I'm singing and it's incredible that I get to do this for a living, but like, do I really want to keep what's the difference between this and DJ Odyssey? It's more work to do this. You know what I mean? Like
That's one way to think of it.
I'm just a live DJ, and so that essentially, I mean, honestly, that's what sparked my new set and performance style is when I had that thought. I was like, oh shit, I'm just a DJ. I'm just a live DJ. Well, shit, okay. But people like this. Well, how can I parlay it into something that's more original?
They like that, but they're gonna love your new shit, and that's when your level is gonna go up, guarantee.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Well, they like the original stuff. Is hopefully they like it.
Yeah. So, are you gonna release an album eventually?
Yeah. No, actually. So I have a single that. So Josh Shatofi is like a really good friend of mine. He's one of my best friends, and like we golf a lot together. And he hit me up like maybe 3 weeks ago on FaceTime, and he's like, "So I just wrote this song, and I feel like your voice would sound really good on it. What do you think?" And he sang it for me, and like, bro, I was blown away off the bat. And so we're gonna record that single. I think we're looking at Imua Garza as the producer for it. Hopefully,
oh wow,
I think he's the fit for that song. But it's called "When You Say I Do," and it's it's a wedding song, really. But it's amazing, man. I can't wait to record it.
That's awesome.
I just was featured on the Haku Collective live stream this past Saturday, and I performed it on there. So if anybody wants to check out their, I think they have it on YouTube. It's my second song.
Oh, I'll check it out.
But yeah, it's called "When You Say I Do," and it's a gorgeous song, and I really can't wait to put that out. In addition to that, I have 2 albums that I've been working on. My reggae album's almost done. I mean, it's pretty much done. I'm just tightening things up. And then I'm working on an R&B album right now that's probably about halfway done. And the plan is to release them both at the same time, like on the same day. Separate albums. It's not like a 2-sided disc or something like that, or 2-disc album. It's 2 completely separate albums, both Joseph Soul, but one is going to be reggae and one is going to be R&B. And it's mainly because I want to have material out there. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to have there's people that have been waiting for shit for me for a long time, and there are also people out there who just heard of me, and either way, having one song is cool, but then like having 21 songs, 10 and 10 plus a single, now they can listen to it on a road trip. If they can listen to it cleaning their house instead of just one song on repeat that they have to add to a playlist to somebody else's shit, now they can add my whole album to their shit. So, and at the end of the day, I do all my own stuff. So really, it's not difficult. Most people are just not putting the work in.
Yep, and it's 2 different genres. It's cool because like I had Mox on the show, and he's embraced his island roots and doing a reggae album, which he hasn't performed reggae since he was in high school or early on in his career. He was strictly rap, and it's good to see the difference. Like, I can do both. I'm not a reggae artist. I'm an R&B artist and I'm a reggae artist. I'm a hip hop artist and I can do island music. It's like you're not just conforming to one genre. That's pretty sick. That's pretty dope. That you're able to do that and you're willing to do that.
Yeah, R&B's always been my passion, but it's been tough to do it here. Unfortunately, like it seems like if you come out here and you try to do R&B here, you kind of get looked at in a different light. But if you're successful externally, then they support you. For example, Bruno, before he was Bruno Mars and he was just Bruno Hernandez, people hated on him, you know? Like, I just feel like once he became Bruno Mars, then the support poured in for him, you know? And so I'm thankful that the show kind of established me as an R&B artist. They always introduced me as the R&B artist from Hawaii, stuff like that, the Hawaiian soul singer, stuff like that. So it gave me the opportunity to put R&B music out and not be like, oh, why is he doing this? He's a reggae singer. But at the same time, I love reggae music, and I had this reggae album pretty much done, and I've been sitting on a lot of these tunes for a while, and pretty much everybody that I've ever let listen to it enjoys it. So it's one of those things, like, why just let it sit on the shelf and collect dust if I own it all? You know, it might as well just put it out there.
And if you liked it and you did it, launch it, man. That's what life is about. I
don't have any expectations with the stuff. I'm not trying to go platinum with these albums. I'm just trying to put music out there for people that are looking for music from me. That's about it.
That'd be awesome. All right, man. Well, we've been going for over an hour, man. Maybe it's time for the question of the week.
I'm ready, man.
Question of the week. Question of the week is, who are 3 people you've drawn inspiration from?
Oh, okay. You can go first and I'll go after you. And it can be anybody, like family or like celebrities, or what, does it matter?
Yeah, I'll this is tough because I feel like it's ever changing. It's not like the 3 people or the 3 people most, but I'm just going to use these 3 because they're good examples, and they're 3 different examples. I'll start with this man because he is dealing with some stuff.
Yeah, he just got fucked up today.
He did. Well, I think my Uncle Del Beasley. Some of you younger kids might not know who Uncle Del Beasley is.
He lives up the street.
Bro, Uncle Del Beasley is one of the funniest people I know. He texts me earlier. He's like, "Oh, you heard about Tiger Woods? Looks like he got to find a new driver."
That's good.
So I responded with, "Yeah, his last one had too much spin. His car flipped, man." Jokes. Oh, frick. But what this dude has like been through, come back from to win the 2019 Masters. I mean, I'll give you just one specific situation from this past Masters. He shoots a 10 on a par 3, and then comes back and birdies the remaining holes. Like, he has a breakdown and shoots 10, and then birdies the rest of the whole. You know what I mean? Like the rest of the round, and like his ability to face adversity and come back from it, not just come back from it at the same level, but to come back from it better, to come back from it and win the 2019 Masters. Like, that's why he's somebody I draw inspiration from, because, you know, his ability to face adversity and get through it.
Yeah.
All right, number 2, Notorious B.I.G. I just think he was a genius. He was way ahead of his time, and he would do whatever it took to support and take care of his family, and that's the kind of person I am. And he's pretty much my favorite rapper is Ludacris, but I love Biggie, and I love Biggie for the same reasons I like Ludacris, for his delivery and his lyricism. So, I mean, Biggie's probably my favorite rapper, but since Luda has more material, I'll just have to go with Luda. But yeah. And number 3, don't mind his uniform, but
black and gray now.
Yeah, black and gray now.
Yeah.
Marcus Mariota, I just feel like the way he carries himself and represents Hawaii is very, I feel like very unique for somebody in his position. At that level of celebrity, even like, because for example, like Bruno Mars doesn't rep Hawaii nearly as much as Marcus does, you know. And but my whole point is that somebody at that level of celebrity, I mean, for him to wear an 808 in his face mask, you know what I mean, like little things like that. And on top of that, the way he carries himself just as a human being, everyone that's ever met him or interacted with him has said nothing but positive things about him as a human, and that speaks volumes of the type of people that we are here, and that means a lot to me. And And not to mention, I mean, he won the Heisman. He's
Yep.
one of the best college quarterbacks of all time. And people don't give him enough credit, but he turned around the Titans franchise from a 2-14 and a 3-13 team to
That's true.
to a winning record almost every season that he played for
Yeah,
them,
he went to
and
the playoffs.
multiple playoff appearances and a playoff win against the Chiefs in Arrowhead. So,
Yep.
A lot of people don't give him credit. Not to mention he had 5 different offensive coordinators and 4 different head coaches in his time
Yep.
there, or 3 different head coaches. But it is what it is. Ultimately, I'm a fan of Marcus Mariota, the human, first, and then Marcus Mariota, the player. But those are my 3: Tiger Woods, Marcus Mariota, and Notorious B.I.G.
That's awesome. So my 3 would be, the first one would be someone I admired as a little kid until now. And recently I got to visit his grave, and that's Bruce Lee. I like the way he went against the grain. He did the things that he wanted to do, and he didn't conform to something. Like, he's honestly the creator of mixed martial arts. He wasn't just, I'm going to do Kung Fu this way. He said, I'm going to fight, and this is what's going to help me win a fight regardless. And then he taught it to everybody, anybody who wanted to learn. And he was a philosopher, so he had a balance. And to me, that's always important, kind of yin yang. And that brings me to my second inspiration, a person that inspired me. And at a young age, I always liked this person. One, because he was small and he fought the biggest dude, and that's King David and Goliath. So King David, he was a warrior. He, no fear. His first you hear of him is he went up against the biggest dude, fucked him up, won. He became king. But he was human. He made mistakes. He had lust. He if I don't know if you know the story, but he lusted over another man's wife and put him on the front line, got him killed so he could have the wife.
So he could have the wife, yeah.
Yeah. But he asked God for forgiveness. So he made mistakes, asked for forgiveness. That's human. He was a warrior. He was a king. What got me to like him even more was he worked in a garden. He was a poet. He liked to play music. So he had that perfect balance. And that's something that I always strive to kind of in my life, to have a perfect balance, to be a strong person and go after my goals, but be able to listen and also be able to create. That's kind of the perfect balance you want. So King David, that's one of the people that I always try to replicate how his thought process was from what I read in the Bible and stuff. And my third would be 2 people, and it would be my parents. They taught me everything I know, and they inspire me by their actions and their achievements in life and how they got to where they eventually are. And their love for their family and how they treat people. That inspires me on the daily. And also you, bro, you inspire me. I seen you on The Voice, and you brought that humbleness and aloha that is unique. That's why you popped. Like it made you pop. Like you were different than everybody else. You showed your tattoo about your family and stuff. That right there, aloha, is my inspiration. And anybody showing it, I always get inspired by it. And that's the truth, bro. Like this whole planet, if everyone on this planet lived with aloha, the problems would disappear. And honestly, I always say it starts in Hawaii because that's where it's from. And it's our responsibility to kind of radiate it. And we're a little speck. You look at Hawaii on a map. We're the tiniest speck. But the people and the aloha and the love that come out of that speck can change the world. And it starts with people like you and giving that platform. And that's all also inspiring. So that's my 3, man.
I love it, bro. I mean, it's so hard to just name 3 because same here.
Yeah.
My parents and my grandparents are so influential to me, and they mean so much and inspire me every day. And my fiance, like her grind, we met in the beginning of her master's program, and now she has a PhD doing a postdoc fellowship at Harvard. Like
that's crazy.
That's inspiring to me, but
that's inspiring to me. You said she's an epidemiologist.
Yeah, she's an environmental epidemiologist.
Yep. I work
she
for
worked-
epidemiologists.
Yeah, that's badass. She actually used to
Yep.
work at the cancer center when she was doing her master's.
Yep, that's so cool.
She's incredible. I barely got through high school. I went to Honolulu alternative program in Ever Beach, and
Hey, you're here making
Here we
noise
are.
though. Yeah.
Yep.
Hey man, I definitely appreciate you having you on my show. It means a lot to me, and hopefully, Brad, this is the first of many. And every time you level up, we'll come and talk about it. And I'm so anxious to see how far you take this career. And like I said, you just scratch the surface, man. Just keep driving. And Brad, I've known you for a while, and I've seen you always working. And man, you ever want a gig at the district? Text me, and we'll put you on, dude.
I always want to.
All right, you and Hoppa, that'll be a fucking mean set.
I'm super
Gotta
down.
believe that.
We might have to do a few dabs in the car before we go.
Oh, bro, the green stairs.
Actually, yeah, I'll just bring this in.
Yeah.
some hash rosin. What?
Anyways, where can they find you, man, on the web? Instagram?
Yeah, onlyfans.com/Joseph. No, I'm just joking.
We can show one nut.
Only. The other one's empty. I used it already.
Show off the Achilles. Show off the Achilles.
Yeah.
Show the Achilles scar.
From
yeah.
the belly button, and from the belly button view.
Yeah.
Show the Achilles from the belly button.
Yeah.
No, josephsoul.com, SOUL, or Instagram's my most, I guess, active social media platform at josephsoul, SOUL. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I have the Twitter thing, I do the Facebook thing, but mostly Instagram. It's simple.
All
Take
right.
picture, post picture, look at picture, double tap picture. Easy.
Yeah. Awesome. And for us, you can always find us ATBpod.com on the web, Instagram, Above the Bridge Podcasts, YouTube, Above the Bridge Pod. My Instagram's Daddy Hi. Go follow Boyband John. Get him some followers. BBJ8, the letter 08. Follow him on Instagram, please. It'll be worth your time. Again, man, thank you so much for coming on the show, and appreciate you, bro. I can't wait to see what's happening, and I can't wait to go to your concert, man. That's gonna be fun.
And don't have too high expectations, yeah.
I'm coming in.
We're gonna do like 5 dabs right before you come in, just so you're just sitting there like, oh, dude, the show was good, bro. That it didn't even start yet. Man. You can talk to Valen about. You can talk to Valen about this thing.
Oh no.
Oh, God.
I don't even want to know.
You don't. No, yeah, it was awesome. I have it on video. He's filming
Right
it.
on, man. Oh yeah, he's probably filmed it. That guy blew up. He's doing good stuff.
I'm so proud of him, man.
Yep.
He's killing it, man. Him and Royce. Royce is doing some
Yep.
big things too, man.
It's crazy.
Yes, sir. We'll talk about him on the next podcast.
Yep, for sure. All right, man. Well, that's about it. We did good, bro. That was a good one. All right, man. As always, shout out to the Artist Groove Network. Aloha.
Yes, sir.
Okay, shaka for the camera. Yeah.